Hi, Martin. It's so good to see you. How are you doing?
Hello, Johanna. Thank you. All good and fine.
The very first question is to introduce yourself and also, I think, a little bit your history, because I think you're coming from a very interesting background and a long history in the game dev industry.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me. I am indeed like an old dinosaur here in Austria and on an international level. I'm in within the industry for 20 years now. I started back in 2000 with a company called Neo Software that became Rockstar Vienna. After the closure of Rockstar Vienna, unfortunate in 2006, the founders of Neo Software and a small senior team from Rockstar back then created a new or founded a new company called Games.Meta with a new business model, something that is very common these days with a production focus with a small team, uh, bringing people on board for the time needed in a production. We did two games with that company, one smaller Wii title and something that is a little bit forgotten because it has some roots in Austria, the success of Dead Island back in the days. And this company was sold to Koch Media. And unfortunately, this was also closed in 2010. And then I had the call from an international studio and relocated to Denmark and spent 3 years in Copenhagen with IO Interactive and worked on several Hitman titles back then. Um, yeah, then I continued and switched sides and moved to the platform holder part of the industry because Microsoft hired me or invited me to join Microsoft Austria, the local Xbox team, to support the marketing and production side of the introduction of Xbox One back in the days here in Austria. That was very interesting to see also the retail distribution side of our industry. Yeah, after a successful launch here in Austria with Xbox, the friends and former colleagues from Rockstar Vienna, who founded in the meantime the Pumi games, um, told me I should kind of stop working for the other side, some say the dark side, and come back to content development. And so I joined me Pumi in 2014. And I'm now 6 years with me Pumi. I'm helping their management and the founders to run the company in a day-to-day business. More on the organizational side, remove obstacles, but also a little bit teasing into production with the background that I have, supporting the production team with submissions and stuff like that, developer relations, talking to platform holders, and so on. So that is the variety of my career. What might be of interest is for people who would like to start into the or get into the industry. I don't have a development background. I come from a totally different angle. I actually studied politics and communication and started as a communication person, PR. And then in the last 20 years, I would say every organizational job that you could imagine within the studio, I already did, from including, I don't know, recruitment, HR, facility management, IT, finances, stuff like that. So I'm a generalist on the organizational side with a strong focus on communication.
This is really exciting. I find your background really inspiring, and also like the different sides you already like, also the dark sides and the good sides you already saw and explored in your career. Um, but today we are actually not here to talk about Mipumi. There's another video talking about Mipumi already.
Mm-hmm.
But something super special in Austria. It's the pioneers. What can you tell us about the pioneers? And could you also elaborate a little bit on the history, like how it got founded? What is the purpose? And yeah, the vision.
Yeah. Well, I would say, um, as it happens very often, Austria is a bit late to the party. So Austria didn't have a professional association representing the games industry for a long time. There were several initiatives in the past that didn't work out for several reasons. And at one point, the managing directors of the senior studios here in Austria said, okay, we should do something and kind of get closer to each other, exchange ideas and where we are. And the very initial spark was a first meeting with managing directors from Pumi, Drawing back then, and Social Spiel. And we just said, okay, let's have a beer and have a dinner and let's discuss things and see how we can help each other. And that was the initial spark where we tried to invite everyone that is involved in the industry. That also included, for example, the association with the publishing association ÖVUS in Austria. And we had a quite interesting exchange of ideas on a regular basis. And this became a larger thing where we also started to talk to politicians on county level here in Vienna, but also on Austrian level with the government. And at one point, especially the politician side said, it's fine, we like what you're doing, we would be happy to help and support you, but you need to have an entity. This is something that they need from their end. They just need to have someone to speak to, which has an entity background. They can't talk to individuals and they can't talk to individual companies. So even though in the first place we said we will never ever found an association because there are so many in Austria anyways, we ended up founding a new association. And the reason why we called it Pioneers Game Developers of Austria, is first of all, since we were late to the party, a lot of good names were already, not accessible anymore. Especially with Australia, very close to Austria. And so we ended up with Pioneers. And the reason for that is that the sad fact and reality is that the majority of decision makers in this country are not aware that we all exist. They don't know that there's a games industry and a scene here in Austria, a small one, but a scene that is creating high quality content that is highly acclaimed and awarded across the globe. But we are so tiny and we haven't been very vocal in the past that nobody took notice of us. So we are, so to speak, the pioneers to kind of, remind politicians and stakeholders on economic level, that we are there, that we are an important part also of the future with all the talks about digital things in the future. And we are a successful industry and a growing industry with high potential, with very well educated people, like you're providing with your students, very good candidates and graduates for the industry on an entry level. So our job is to raise awareness on several levels, and also to invite everyone together, because this is also something that didn't work out in the past, that we had isolated islands, I would like to say, very focused on Vienna. And our first idea, our first rule is to include everyone that is doing something in the industry in Austria. So we travel a lot. We try to be in every county at least once a year, visiting all the meetups, also in the western parts of Austria, in Innsbruck, Tirol, but also with you in Styria, Graz, and not to forget Salzburg. These are kind of the hotspots of game development in Austria. And we would like to offer a platform where people can bring their concerns, their ideas, their problems to our table, and we will help everyone to discuss those things and also try to make life for all of us easier in the future, especially for the ones that are following us, the very talented and new people and studios that entered the scene recently, so that they have an easier life than we had, because 20 years ago there was no infrastructure at all. There was, some people tend to forget that 20 years ago, not an individual didn't have email back then. So this is all, everything happened very fast, and it's our job to combine everyone, create a platform for people to join, to distribute information, and to act as interface between the scene and the stakeholders on Austrian level.
This is so remarkable and important what you're doing, and yeah, I cannot like thank you enough for providing the support for the Austrian game dev scene. The next question would be obviously, I mean, what are the next plans, the next steps, and the future goals from the pioneers?
Well, unfortunately, like anyone else, it was a difficult year in 2020. More for the association, less for the studio or the studios. We are definitely not, winners or profiting. I don't want to use that kind of terms, but in comparison to other industries and to other employees, when you look also at the teams that are part of the studios, we are kind of privileged that we were allowed and able to continue our work. And it was easy for us with the level of working digital, easily to switch to home office. So we're definitely a privileged industry when you look back to 2020 compared to other industries. The pioneers had some plans, obviously on analog level with events starting at GDC, where we would have offered another Be Schön event together with Konstantin Mitkutsch, and to represent Austria on a global level, just to also again raise awareness that game development takes place in Austria, because there's also something that we actually need to get on the map for a lot of people. That obviously didn't work out this year. We would have collaborated with you and the Gaza Game Dev Days to have some kind of analog meeting and invite everyone to discuss the next steps for the pioneers together as a scene. That obviously also didn't take place. We are strongly collaborating with the universities in Austria, like with you at the TU Graz, and I wanted to host a university, how do you call it? A get together, because on university level, not everyone knows each other, and I wanted to bring everyone to one table and pocket. I think that's the word also in English. To discuss what the industry needs, and so that we can also align on the curriculums and also help facilitating the students, the graduates on internships and so on, just to bring everyone together so that we can speak and communicate with each other. This is obviously still on the plan for 2021. And also something that we are discussing for some time now is it's my pet project, my personal one. I would like to have an academic database with all the papers that are created in Austria, combined and collected in a database visible for everyone, so that we can also show to the politics side how much work is already done in Austria, how much investment is already there from the government side for educational purposes. That we still already have a very good foundation from there, and that we have very talented and good educated graduates here in Austria. And there is the potential for more if we are feeding and helping everyone, especially in the first steps, because that's something that is missing. I feel that the education part is well prepared and on the way, but what we are missing are always help with the first step, getting a commercial company, starting a commercial company, being more the entrepreneurship. That's also something that I try to convince also universities to invest there more, and also the students to take advantage of the safe haven of universities, to use that already as kind of an incubator with the safe haven and the safe net, to kind of try to translate their projects and their ideas after they graduate into a commercial company, because this is what we need. We need more studios, talented studios with interesting ideas and concepts to overall help the industry grow in Austria.
Absolutely. This is so important, and thanks for summarizing that. I mean, we talked about a lot about young developers. Are there any special advices you could give younger developers, people getting into the industry or founding their own studios?
Mhm. First of all, start to network early. I think that's also what I mentioned in my introduction. When I started 2000, there was none. There was no. There was internet, yes, but it was again, as I said, not really accessible to everyone. There were no meetups. I think the first IGDA Austria or Vienna chapter, there were colleagues from Rockstar who created that or founded that. That was in 2003 or four, and that really didn't start to fly. And then Yogi with Subotron started, I think, in 2006, offering a platform where you could meet and exchange, and it was really, really successful. And I think that a lot of people with my age or my age, we should also thank Yogi that he started the whole thing and created this network, the possibility to discuss things together and learn from each other. And that was really an interesting spark that also helped to move the industry forward. So what everyone should do, even if you are a hobbyist or if you're just interested to the industry, we are a very friendly and open bunch of people. So you can always knock at our doors and just meet with us and talk to us. So take advantage of the meetups in your hometown if there's one. If not, don't be shy and found one. Try to find other people with similar interests and start talking, speaking, exchanging ideas. Find people that you can collaborate with. If you're a coder with an idea and looking for an artist, meetups are a very good chance just to start talking about projects, finding a team, starting a team. If you would like to enter on a commercial level the industry, you should always work on your portfolio. Most important, and it's also for the association, for the scene overall, most important are the projects, because when you look at the industry from an economic point of view, what counts are projects, concepts, and ideas that can translate into incubation, investment, and funding. So if you have an idea, you just need to bring it to a point where you can have at least a proper pitch document that you can show to someone. And this also helps you then to apply at studios because they will always ask for a good portfolio. And this is something that is not limited to artists and designers. Also, coders don't need to forget to provide a portfolio, a structured, organized, snapshot of their work so far, because this is what we as a company are looking for. An easy way to see where the person is in his career or in her career, or sorry, their career, that's the proper term. Just to understand what you have done so far. And don't be shy if it's a student project, that's totally fine. I think that's one of the advantages in our industry compared to the old industry, that the majority of companies are reasonable and don't expect the graduate to have a AAA portfolio and 5 years of experience. We are capable and able to judge also student projects and graduate work and put that into perspective and try to see and find the potential in a person. So this is something that is the key to have a good portfolio that you can present. And you should have that available all the time, because when we're back into normality and you can meet people, you should always have something to show right away when you bump into someone at a conference or at a meetup, that you can just show what you have done so far. And on the graduate level, on the university, use and take advantage of the infrastructure that all the universities already providing, helping. In reality, all the universities, also the applied science universities, are kind of incubators already. They offer the chance that you can work for a year or even more and continuously on a project that you can bring to a level where it already has a chance that you could show it to investors. So it's really a good chance to take advantage of that time while you're still in the safety net and safe haven of the university. It's getting cold in life anyways very fast, to take advantage while you are within education.
Martin, thank you so much for sharing that. I have one last question. which is like a very specific one for this year. I mean, I think you tackled it already a little bit in your discussions, but I mean, 2020 obviously was a challenging year. How did you cope with that? Or what do you have any takeaways and things you're particularly looking forward to when things are getting a little bit more normal again?
I think the working together has become even more important, and I feel that the studios, and I think that's something where we are really good at in our industry, that we really care about the teams that we work with and the colleague that is standing next to someone, that felt even stronger and tighter this year for everyone. And I feel that we're also successful as an industry this year because we were able to cope with the situation rather quickly. As I said before, we had the infrastructure, but also with the mindset, how we run studios and how we run teams and how we respect each other. I think that's something that is really, really important. And it is something that kind of stands out and is yeah, kind of a USP for us as an industry, how we work with each other and how we care for each other. I think that's something that is, yeah, something really special. And I'm saying that, and I know that sounds a little bit pathetic, but I'm doing this for 20 years now, and I feel extremely privileged to be allowed to be in such an interesting and creative industry, even though I'm not the most creative person with the work I do, but I'm surrounded by creative people and I help creative people to do their job. And that's extremely fulfilling for me as a person. And I feel really privileged to be allowed to do that. So I think that even though we had a very stressful year, everyone, I think we coped with it really, really well. What everyone is looking forward to 21, and I think that's important for all the industries, is to keep the team and the spirit up and high. I think that an office, and again, a safe haven, I like that word actually, something that you can return to and go to and feel as a team is extremely important, especially now that we have worked remote and distributed for such a long time. I think that everyone is really thirsty for exchange in eye to eye, in a person level, not only in a video call. And I think that everyone will be very happy to sit in a meeting room again and yeah, spend some time on a simple whiteboard discussing things for the next steps for the future of the company or a project. I think that everyone will be looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that and your inspiring and important answers. And yeah, looking forward to see the next steps of the pioneers.
Yeah, thank you for your time. And please not to forget that you are carrying a heavy load for the industry in Austria, and the entire Austrian scene should always thank you for what you're doing for us. So thank you, Anna.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Good night. Bye.